But what I want to do tonight, though, I do want to talk about it, if you don't mind, and I need your help, your support in it. And I would like to just establish an open forum here for a brief moment. And I was doing some research, after I had gotten the call. I was doing some research about parents who had suffered the loss of children. And I came across this article that was by, oh my God, I can't remember exactly the people. I think it was Health and Science, that's it. And they said that in the year of 2018, that over 10,000 parents, children, had succumbed or died from the ages of 1 to 14. 10,000 children. When you look at it, that's 10,000 parents, or maybe even you want to double it, 20,000 parents that was affected by it. That's not even to include siblings, not even to include other relatives along with that. And I can only imagine that that is a very traumatic experience to go through as a parent. And so one of the other things what the article said is that the death of a child is considered the single worst stressor a person can go through. It says that parents and fathers specifically feel responsible for the child's well-being. So when they lose a child, they're not just losing the person they love, they're also losing the years of promise they had looked forward to. And I thought that was such a profound comment, such a profound statement when you really look at it, especially to have a child who dies, who transitions from this side of life to another side unexpectedly, especially at a young age. And this young man, he was, as a matter of fact, he passed away 15 days before his 29th birthday. And this young man, even in his short lifespan, he impacted so many people, not only in his family, but in his community and in his line of work with the police department. And, I was talking with his father and I said, listen, man, it's all because of what you instilled in him. You had a lot to do with that. And, you mentoring him, you encouraging him, you directing him, you imparting wisdom in it. And I can tell you this, and I would say to any children that are listening, even especially young men, when you really grab hold to the wisdom of your father or man who is standing in a place of fatherhood, and you grabbing hold of that wisdom, you'd be surprised of how many detours that wisdom is avoiding you from having to take. Because what that wisdom does is that it allows you to stay on a straight and narrow path, okay? So again, I encourage you, look, don't run away from the wisdom, because I always tell my children, the wisdom that I and their mother share with them or impart in them is not just speaking to where they're at, it's speaking to where they're going, okay? But listen, what I would like to do is just open up an open forum. If you have any questions, or maybe you may have had that experience, the loss of a child or a loss of a close relative, I'm going to ask you, please, share it. If you want to talk about it, just share it. And I would definitely, those that are watching on Facebook, we'll read off your questions and we'll talk about it, okay? And I can only imagine. Look, I don't know what that experience is like, and I'm not going to sit here and pretend as if I'm some expert at it, or I'm a psychologist or anything, anything like that, Del. But yet still at the same time, I can only imagine, and I know of close people who are family members, people, I'm going to say friends of the family who are very close to our family. And I mean, we had lost a life of saints in our church to transition. And I know what that experience is like. Yes, it's a void. There is definitely a void, but of course you're adults. But when we're talking to children, when we're talking about our child, I can only imagine. That's the only thing I can do, okay? Because, you know, I'm grateful to God that I'm still able to enjoy the life of my children. I'm even able to enjoy the life of my parents. And I know that some of you that are watching, you may have had lost your parent, a parent who had transitioned in life, and I have no doubt, that you, even not, no matter how long ago it have been, especially if it's a mother, especially if it's a father, every time Mother's Day come around, I'm absolutely certain you're thinking of your mother. Every time Father's Day come around, I'm absolutely certain that you are thinking of your father. Okay, so it's no different. Or when a birthday come around of your brother who has passed on, or your sister who has passed on, I'm absolutely certain that you are you're moved by that, you're affected by that. I know it's traumatic. You know, I know it's traumatic. I mean, and I think it's a great thing though if we just have talk about it. You know, interesting that, and I think there's nothing wrong with mourning because the Bible tells us that we're to mourn with those who mourn. And when I look at his mother, you know, his mother, she's always posting on Facebook, and every day, she's posting a picture of her son. She's sharing scriptures, things of that. And listen, I don't knock that because that's her way of coping. That's her way of dealing with it. I wish I can share with you some of one of the how would you say, a message that she had wrote in, she penned in the program to her son. And it's no doubt that she's still mourning. And I understand that. I understand that. I can only uh, 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 sympathize with them, and and pray. That's the one thing that we can do and pray, and just have some compassion. Okay, okay, okay. This is from one of our viewers. Okay, and they say in helping a person whose loved one transition, it's important to learn what to say and what not to say. Okay, and it definitely makes a difference. And I can only agree with that. You know, sometimes there were times when during the period when they were preparing for their son's homegoing service, there were times I just went over and just stood there. You know, just I didn't even bring things up or bring it up or anything. Didn't even say anything about it. Sometimes I just stood there because all I wanted to know that, you know, there were some other people there, but I'm just there to support. Anything that you need, I'm here. I want you to know I'm here. I don't know, because sometimes you don't know what to say. And when you don't know what to say, sometimes it is just best that you don't say anything at all, but just be there. Just be there. You know, and if you would, and if you could, you know, pray in your spirit. Just pray. If you don't know what to pray, then, you know, just say something kind. Be kind about it. Strive to be understanding. And I think that if you can, if it's possible, you know, just say some things that would bring laughter. Believe that would help. I don't know. I don't know. I know I've had to console some families when when a family member transition. And one of the things that I always try to do is just show a sign of strength in their period of weakness. Okay, just not saying that, you know, hey, listen, if you need a shoulder to cry on, I'm here. No, I don't say that. You know, I don't say that, but I just let them know, listen, what do you need me to do? Or what can I do? Or better yet, even if you see something that you can do, just do it. Just do it. You go, yes, definitely prayer helps. Okay. Prayer helps. Even if may not be a Christian, but you can still say a prayer though. You know, you can pray for their strength. You can pray for their comfort. Okay. You can pray for their peace, that they have peace. You know, I can only imagine that as a hurtful thing. I can only imagine if it was like that one of my children were to pass away. I don't know how I would respond to that or how I would act to that. I can only imagine. I can only have that thought, but yet I'm grateful that our family circle is still unbroken. And for those of you who are likewise, you know, be grateful as well. Be grateful as well. Um, a child dying, especially when they're young, especially, we had a daughter, our oldest daughter, in their first pregnancy. They had a stillborn, is it? Is that what it is? They lost their child to stillborn birth. And our daughter, she was traumatized by it at first. Okay. And I'm certain that there was a fear that may have set in as to whether or not, this is something that I would want to attempt to do again. Okay. But nevertheless, though, we got to keep going. And we know that, and I think that no matter how much we see death or may experience death, death has always been here. I don't think we would ever get used to it. Okay. Minister Ann says that death transition is tough. It's a trauma experience. I can only imagine. I can only imagine. I can only imagine if, my parents are up in age, and I'm going to be very honest with you. As a son, sometimes I'm like, when the phone rang and I see it's their number, I'm like, is this the time? And it's just the thought of that is something that I don't know if I would be prepared for. But nevertheless, if it is, then I know I want to be ready. And that brings me to say this, if even, I don't know if this is the right thing to say, but even if you as a parent or as a brother or a mother or father, a sister or a cousin or what have you, we don't know when we're going to transition, or when they may transition, or when death may hit our family. So I think it's so important that we make sure that we love one another, that we make sure that we have peace with our loved ones as much as possible. We don't go to bed angry. We don't go to bed not talking to our sisters and brothers, or upset with our mothers and our fathers, or we upset with our children. I don't think that's a good thing. I think that even if they were to pass away, I think, and you have some strife in between the two of you. I can only imagine that it would make that passing away even more traumatic. It was interesting. My wife was sharing with me about a coworker just last week, someone who, pardon me, during Thanksgiving, as a matter of fact. Can you think about this now? On Thanksgiving, this was Thanksgiving Day, right? Okay, Thanksgiving Day, this coworker was supposed to cover my wife on that day. Of course, my wife went on to work, and the coworker never showed up to work. So they're calling her, and they're trying to reach her, because it was definitely unknown to her. Not how she was. She wasn't that type of person who would be late or miss work and things like that. She was absolutely in tune with what needs to be done as far as work is concerned, I guess I could say. And so then finally the job ended up calling the daughter, and the daughter went by the home, and on Thanksgiving Day found that her mother had transitioned in life. And I think the daughter was 21, I believe, and the mother was in her mid-50s. Okay, that's young. And when you think about it, and with the lifespan of people today, that is young. And to have a mother to pass like that on Thanksgiving, and just think about it, every Thanksgiving, that young lady's life will never be the same. It will always be different, because again, this is the day my mother passed. Okay. But I wanted to bring this point out, that there was, some issues with another coworker, and a week prior to that, the coworkers were able to mend those issues. Now, just to think that if this lady, who has, my understanding has, a beautiful spirit, was to transition in life, and never had the opportunity to square up and make difference, with them and make peace with them, that in itself, I think, can be traumatic. Okay, one of the viewers said, everyone has their individual experience, almost like no one two are alike. So allow the person to share as much as possible because they need to express their grief, let it out. And that's it. That is so true, Minister Ann. That is so true. And that's a good, I believe that this is a counselor that is saying these things. So thank you so much for sharing your knowledge with us, Pastor White. Again, let them express their own way. And that's what I was doing. I was just there. Whenever he did want to talk about it, I was there just to be a sounding board. You know, and then sometimes if I did respond, I let my words to be few. I allowed my words to be few. I didn't, you know, overtalk them or anything like that there. But everybody has their own way of expressing their grief or sharing or letting their grief out. You know, it's interesting that the father, he shared with me, you know, he had to take a ride this morning. You know, he was just out riding, you know, and he had this moment to himself. And I think they went and they visited the grave. I don't know what that's like. I don't. You know, I've had some close friends who have definitely passed. And again, even in those areas, in that situation, I strive to be very, very strong for them, for that family, okay? And if I'm gonna have my moments about it, I'm gonna have my moments privately. You know, I'm not gonna let that's just the way I just handle it. Let them, the family see me, you know, mourning as well. You know, I'm there for strength. I'm there for comfort, and that's what I strive to be. So in essence, I guess what Pastor Ann is saying is that most people, when they mourn internally, and they won't let it out. They won't show it. They won't show their grief or anything like that. You know, so we want to just keep praying for them, keep supporting them. And I think the best thing to do is, one of the things, if I can say it this way, you know, be there, but be there without getting in the way. Be there without getting in the way. You know, if they want to cry, you can't tell them, oh, don't, you know, you shouldn't cry. It's all right. You know, he was a good boy, this and that there, blah, blah, blah. You know, I don't know if that's the right thing to say, but it doesn't sound like it's the right thing to say to me. It's not something that I would say, okay? Like I said, you know, a lot of times for me, I just go there and just be there. You know, just be there. You know, bring some food, bring the drinks, you know, things like that. Run errands if you have to, just to give them that support that way. But nevertheless, so we're going to get off of here. I want to thank all of you again. For those who are watching, please share this video. Go share the rest of our videos if you would. We have some good ones that I think that would be very interesting. And I thank all of you for your support. And with that being said, and we're going to call it for the day. Y'all have a blessed and wonderful day. Thank you all. Good night.